Okay, a story hit our hot list today that we just have to talk about. We're talking about it on the inner tubes, Twitter, Facebook. The website AskMen.com asked thousands of young guys to answer a huge list of questions about love, work, even fashion. In the Great Male Survey, nearly half of these men asked said that, you ready for it? They would drop a romantic partner for gaining too much weight. Not all of the results are that harsh. The website's editor-in-chief, James Bassil, joins us live via Skype. James, it's good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us. And Virginia and Joe are going to jump in on the conversation as well. So give us an idea of the type of guys that responded to this survey.
Well, we polled a lot of guys. We polled more than 70,000 guys. And most of them are in their mid-20s, late 20s. They're from the U.S. for the most part, but also from Canada, Australia, the U.K. So they really are your typical guys.
Okay, so a typical guy, you just said it, okay? So a typical guy, of the pool of typical guys, half of them say that they would leave a woman if she gained weight? What's your response to that?
Well, I wasn't terribly surprised by that, to be honest. And I understand that there is a negative reaction to it, and I've seen that reaction along with you. But I think something to keep in mind, because this isn't the first time that we talked about this topic on the site on Ask Men.
Okay.
And we know that when guys freak out about this, it has something to do with looks, certainly. But what they're really freaking out about is the idea that she doesn't care anymore, that she's let herself go, so to speak.
Isn't it usually the other way around, James? Isn't the man the one that's supposed to let himself go before the woman?
But why does a guy have permission to do that?
Isn't that typically how it goes?
Yeah, well, I think that, I think the sense of what letting oneself go means, I think it's different for women and men. I mean, I think that if a guy were to quit his job, for example, and say, I don't want to work anymore, I'm just going to sit on the couch from here on, a woman might say that he's letting himself go. Now, it's not because of material things. She's not worried about the money necessarily, but the thing that attracted her to him before, ambition, drive, that's now gone. So I think that's a similar example from the other gender's point of view.
So, Virginia, let me bring you in, because don't you think that this what we just said kind of feeds into stereotypes, that a man's value is in his ambition and his job and his money, and a woman's value is in her looks? What do you say to that, James? James is like, what?
I agree that they're stereotypes. I think that in this instance, the poll results kind of reinforce those stereotypes. At the same time, if we look through all the results, we see lots of surprises that undermine stereotypes.
But let me ask you this, James. I mean, we keep saying that someone's letting themselves go or that they're giving up. Sometimes weight gain isn't that simple. So we're none of the 50, the half of the men compassionate enough to first say, well, wait a minute, maybe we take a look at why that's happening. Maybe they something's wrong or they're not okay. It just goes right to, no, I just dump them.
Well, we didn't really get into that level.
James, let me ask you something, because Virginia and I talked about this yesterday. Your poll also found that 69% of men said that if a male birth control pill were available, they would take it. Did that number surprise you?
No, not really, because we get tons of emails from readers asking for status updates on the pill. And guys are eager to do this. They're ready to go. I think that guys aren't scared of the responsibility, and they're really thinking about having a better time, and they see the male pill is going to enable that.
Okay.
I could agree more with you, James. If I had the option to take a pill, I absolutely would take a pill. I'd much rather be in control than depend on somebody else's responsibility.
Right. That's a control thing as well. That's definitely a factor.
Okay, let's get to another fascinating number from your survey. 74% of men think that sexting is in fact cheating if you're in a relationship. James, Virginia and I talked about this. Now, yes, we do think that it is, but we were both a little surprised that the number was that high. Maybe I'm feeding into stereotypes, but I thought a guy would say, oh, that doesn't count.
Right. I mean, look, whatever they think about weight gain, guys are generally romantic, sensitive creatures when it comes to relationships. And there's lots of results in the poll that indicate that. And, this specific result about sexting in particular, I think that this reflects both that men are romantic, but also maybe some insecurities that guys bring with them into relationships.
I'm more concerned about what the 26% remaining are doing. the side.
Great conversation, everybody. We got to wrap it up. James, thank you so much. AskMen.com.